Well, welcome to another episode of irRational Moms, coming to you from your favorite neighborhood, MILF Estates. And if you really want to live here, you should check out the MLS listings because every once in a while, a house pops up for sale. All right, so this week we have some really cool topics to talk about. And if you missed last week, we talked about all things Frygate, from when Annabelle went to a Rams game and 49er game and someone stepped on her Jordans. No, you don't do that to her. She'll tell you about how, she was going to throw some fries on somebody. And then we talked about Triss's big old Oreo jar. So it was pretty funny. And then I just have a question for you, Annabelle. Any more confrontations this week, or were you just throwing fries at your 3 televisions that you have on your wall, which is ridiculous right there?
I forgot about that.
I do have a sports bar kind of thing set up in my living room. I have the big TV and 2 small ones next to it because, if you want to watch 2 games in the Red Zone channel, how the hell is she supposed to do that?
Yeah.
But no, I haven't been to any games since we last recorded, which is probably why I haven't been in confrontations with anyone. And I do not condone throwing food in my house because then I have to pick it up. And just to be clear, the reason my fries went on the ground is because somebody knocked them out of my lap, not because I threw them at the game. It was not my fault. I would not waste even crappy fries that cost $20.
Waste snacks.
No, I'm not going to waste the snacks.
God forbid you not waste snacks. I don't know. When you're talking about food throwing, there's been plenty of times where food has been thrown in my kitchen with you two.
That's different. Sometimes we're doing it for fun, like, tossing popcorn in each other's mouths or some stuff with whipped cream, but that's different. And we still have to clean it up. We're still the ones cleaning it up.
It's true. So. We made a huge mess when you made that cream pie that time. For real cream pie.
Well, oh my goodness.
That's what it is.
She's talking about an actual pie. In a pie shell that you can eat. This is safe for work.
Again.
100% we promise.
Oh my God. Tristan, I ever tell you that she taught us how to make pies one time? Like, full on. And she used her, can I say what your secret to pie crust is?
Yeah, it's not a secret. It's a lot of people. It's like literally on the Cooks Illustrated website. So
it's vodka. Well, my grandmother's secret was 7-Up.
I don't know. If that would have the same effect, but you put basically the idea, and this was back probably like 10 years ago when I taught you how to make pies, right? A long time ago. It's when everyone was like trying to be stay-at-home moms and learning how to do, domestic stuff that they didn't know how to do. So I taught our little group of girlfriends how to make pies. And basically, you need the water with the flour to form the dough and for it to be cohesive. But water is what allows gluten bands to develop or whatever. So basically the idea is if you use half water, half vodka, you get enough wetness without too much gluten bands being formed because why? Oh, because it's not water. Sorry. I was not prepared to talk about baking science this morning.
Science.
My bad, guys. I was not fully awake for that one yet. Yeah, but so basically half water, half vodka is going to make a really delicious and flaky pie crust, along with half butter and half shortening. So, yeah.
Which is and she takes the butter and she grades the butter in there. So they're chunks of butter. So it's just all nice and flaky. It's so good. Same with your biscuits. We did biscuits last time, and then
those were so good.
And there was flour on my floor forever. So,
but there's no vodka in the biscuits, to be clear. Just buttermilk.
Oh, all right. So no throwing of any type of food in your house at the TV screens this week.
No, but I did yell at the TV screen quite a bit yesterday during the Rams game. My God. I guess I think that the Rams' first 2 games gave fans hope that maybe they weren't going to be as bad as they were last year. But last night, I just don't understand why you want to take a really talented quarterback like Matthew Stafford and pay him, I don't know, it's like $40 million, and then send him out there to get murdered. I don't understand the purpose of that at all. Of all the things that the Rams could have addressed in the offseason, how was the offensive line not the biggest thing? And it was trash. And Matthew got, beat up, had no time to do anything, and McVay forgets about running the ball, completely forgets it's a thing. And I don't even know what the point of having an offensive coordinator is if you're going to call the plays yourself and do it badly. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, so that was my, that's how I felt about that. Yeah, there was some yelling, and I eventually just turned the game off because sometimes I get too heated, and I'm just like, I'm out. I'm just going to turn it off.
But it wasn't a bad game, though. I mean, it's like they were starting to come back in the last
because
half
the
of
Bengals
it, so.
are, sorry, because the Bengals are terrible. That's why.
And that's really surprising to me because I'm like, they have been so good the last couple of years. I'm like, I am just like, what is going on? Although I will say, I really like their outfits and their helmets this year. I'm like, the animal print, I'm like, dang. I mean, I am like type of person you always should have a little bit of animal or camo in everything you wear.
That's true.
I was just like, I think I need that outfit. I might need one of those like jerseys.
I randomly need a Bengals helmet because it has leopard on it.
Black and white, though. Okay. So, I mean, did you watch any other football?
Yeah, I mean,
you had to, right? It was like Sunday was
watched-
like amazing, sort of.
Sort of, yeah. I was actually in Las Vegas this weekend with my mom. I took her to some shows, multiple Barry Manilow shows.
Oh, really? So you can sing a song for us now, right?
Absolutely not. No one. There are many things I could do to maybe entertain an audience. Singing is not one of them.
Were you the youngest person there? I'm just curious.
There were. I definitely saw this like really cute gay guy there who was younger than me, but I'm pretty sure that, and I was the youngest. However, we had a really nice time. I mean, it's a good show. It's just, I mostly listen to gangster raps or punk, so it just doesn't, it doesn't really track. But so Saturday we watched a lot of football, like in the sports book or whatever those places are called, like in the casino. And then Sunday, also watched a lot of football Sunday. Sunday was crazy because when I was flying back, all the morning games were like in the fourth quarter. So when I took off, I feel like, things sort of looked one way. And then when I landed, all the leaders had flipped and the games were over. And I was like, what the hell just happened? Like, it was kind of bonkers. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, and not in the way that you're going to think, is this whole like Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce situation. Now, the only reason I want to talk about it, I don't really care about anything about celebrities or what they do or who they date. But the thing that I found interesting is that, or not interesting, but bizarre, is the way, like in the media, there's like two takes. One take is, oh my God, Travis totally downgraded from Kayla Nicole. That was his ex. And she's a very pretty lady. And it's kind of like, well, that's bizarre because Taylor Swift is she like one of the richest women in the world.
Very smart businesswoman.
Right. And then the other side, they're like, oh, this is a total upgrade. And then they, talk smack about Kayla. And I'm like, well, why is it even a comparison? Because neither of these women seem to be involved with each other at all or care in any way. So I'm like, well, why do we have to insult one of the women to like either tear down or build up another woman? And that's the thing. I mean, us specifically have a lot of experience with mean girls and mean moms because of, our current profession. And I'm just like, why are women like this? Especially women. Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to insult Kayla Nicole to talk about Taylor Swift? Or why do we have to like talk shit about Taylor Swift? And, I think one of the things they were doing is showing a picture of Kayla Nicole, and now she's banging, don't get me wrong, next to like Taylor Swift during, from what I understand, her like eating disorder era or something. Like she was struggling with, I'm not making fun of that. I mean, like she was struggling with eating disorder. So she's super skinny. So they're comparing the bodies. And I'm like, what is the point of that? Like the only time I will ever talk shit about another woman's body is if they're just a horrible person and they're out there doing horrible things in the world. Like otherwise, just look how you look and try to be happy with yourself,
It does seem like women are just the worst of like the ones to do that. It's not typically the men trying to like go back and forth with it. It's always the women. And I'm not really sure why that is because like we should be uplifting each other and not comparing ourselves to other people. That's the whole issue with like social media and stuff, is that we're continuously comparing ourselves to other people. And it's just crazy to me that they're like facilitating that to, oh, hey, compare. Right. Like these girls don't care. And I'm sure the ex is like, I'm the ex. Like who cares? Let him date. Like clearly they've moved on from each other. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling to understand. And then you go like look at, I actually follow Kayla Nicole on Instagram, and I go like look at her page, and old posts is just like thousands of comments about either you're so much better than Taylor or just all kinds of stuff. It's like, let this girl live her life. What are we doing?
Right?
Like, whatever feelings she has about Travis, that's her business. Who knows? None of us know. We don't know these people. But I just hate the way people have to be so hateful and mean about it. You don't need to be mean about either one of them. Like, what's the point?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't follow Travis too much, although I am wearing my Kelsey wool shirt. But anyways, what they've been broken up for a while though, right? I think so. Like a couple years, right? So it's not even
that's why it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
so what you're digging up the old ex to be like, oh, look, like you should be. We don't know. Maybe she's like totally moved on. She has a different man, and then what you're doing is basically just you're putting these two women against each other, and then on top of that, you're seeing then I didn't really see that much commentary about her and Taylor Swift, but I did see a lot of like Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift. How she must be like jealous now because she's always like, look at me, and then now Taylor's all in the house and the TV screen was on her, and it's like every time I hit like Instagram, it was like every single like the NFL, the Chiefs, like that I follow, it's like Taylor Swift, and I'm like, oh my God. It seemed like whenever I was scrolling, I would just constantly see like it had to be like Taylor Swift, and then pretty soon it was like, everyone's jumping on. I didn't see the Kayla part, but I saw the Brittany part where I'm like, can you leave these women alone? Because all you are doing is just like stirring up hate, animosity, and it doesn't even need to be there. But again, it's just that whole women on women violence, like Tris was saying. It's like, and social media is like just horrible for like trying to actually make women feel horrible about themselves.
Ladies, stop hating each other so much, for heaven's sake. Like, come on. It's ridiculous.
There was like some meme or somebody it was like a picture of a tweet, and some girl had tweeted like, male or like masculine privileges getting to wear the same outfit like multiple times while we have to go shopping. And then some guy commented, I don't think any guy's ever been like, I can't believe you're wearing that dress like a second time or something. It's always going to be women. And it's so true. I don't know why. It's like we do these things to ourselves. But hey, I don't know where I saw this from, but it said that like the Chiefs, like their jerseys and stuff, probably more specifically Kelsey's jerseys, had been up like 400% now. So like all the Swifties are buying up all the stuff. If Ish goes down, then there's going to be a lot of Kelsey jerseys for sale on eBay or Poshmark or whatever they're putting it on these days.
No, they're going to burn them probably along with the breakup album. Right. They're going to like listen to the breakup albb and put them out. Burn the shoebox.
The comments on that one thing was that her next album is going to be called Travesty, and I just thought that was absolutely hysterical. I'm not rooting against them. I hope she finds love, but it is kind of funny. And I don't remember where I even saw this clip, to be honest with you. It might have been on that Savage Sports page. But anyways, so like the merchandise for KC and more specifically the Kelsey jerseys have gone up like some 400%, which is crazy to me. But the Swiftie fans are hardcore. So if something happens when Ish goes down, it's going to be tons of Kelsey jerseys for sale on eBay or Poshmark and all those fun things. So
maybe I'll get one then. The funniest thing I saw was there was some viral tweet. It was a Taylor Swift fan, the Swifties or whatever they're called, where she's trying to explain football in the most very basic terms to the Taylor Swift fans. So it was like, you get 4 tries to go 10 yards. And if you don't get it, it was like, and a touchdown is 6 points, field goal is this. And people are like, what's a down? Is that like when you drop the ball? And other people were like, what's a yard? And people were serious for a while anyway. And somebody put like a screenshot of a football field and like pointed out what the yards are. And then they were like, but wait. So and it was pretty hilarious.
That's really sad that we have this whole generation growing up and don't even know what a yard is or what like a football field looks like. And then there's 100 yards, right? Yeah.
And a lot of people in this I did not like, don't care about Taylor Swift, but they're like, oh, she's probably never even watched a football game in her life. And I'm like, even I know she is a huge Eagles fan. Like, she loves the Eagles. So I guarantee she knows what's going on the football field.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe that's why she was sitting with Mama Kelsey then.
You know, I think my best guess about that, like, where else is she going to sit? Like, if she's there to watch him, she has to sit in a suite because she has, I'm sure, like a team of security and stuff, right? So, like, where else is she going to go? Plus, Mama Kelsey was making the rounds all last year. She's famous now, too. So, to me, it makes sense. Whether it's a PR move or they genuinely like each other or whatever, it just, like, makes sense. Where else is she going to sit? Because she's going to be somewhere, and they're going to show her everywhere, right, if she's there.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I think. So, I don't know. Oh, you know what? Yeah. What other game? Tris, the Dolphins had a historically amazing day on Sunday. What do you think about that?
Right? Man, that was a good game, and it was crazy because, you know, I didn't think, like, at the beginning, the Broncos weren't playing bad. It was kind of like tit for tat for a little while there. And then the end of the third quarter, it like went from bad to worse because they had that interception right there in their end zone or close to it. And then they got another touchdown like right after that. But it was kind of funny though, because Tua, who I just think is so adorable, he was talking on like an interview after the fact, and he's like, well, you know, because everybody was like, why didn't you guys get the record or whatever? All they needed to do was get the field goal, and said they kneeled the ball.
Right.
And it was like, I thought that was pretty classy, but when he went up there, it was adorable because he's like, you know, we're not here to embarrass other teams. It just kind of looked like that or it happened like that or something. Right. It was kind of funny because what are you going to do? You're not going to just stop and be like, oh, I can't score a touchdown, because that's kind of shoving it in their face, you know. But, you know, it was classy at the end. They just were like, hey, we don't need this. We're good.
They kept the foot on the neck until the last 30 seconds.
They
I
did.
mean, I
You
have to
never
say,
know.
and I got to say, like, I mean, it sucks to get beat like that, but also you should try playing better, because I'm never going to say, I mean, I think it's great when, like, say in college sports, when, you know, you're up a lot and you let your second and third strings play because you want them to have experience. That's one thing that's helped Georgia so much is, you know, then your backups all have reps and they know what to do. They're not out there like Ohio State when, what's his name, the wide receiver. Shoot, I forgot his name. But anyway, in the game previous year when he went down, they had nobody else. You don't want to be like that. But, I mean, the Dolphins were good. And I loved A-Chain. You know, he's a rookie, and he's somebody that I heard a lot about because he was at A&M, and I got a bunch of Aggie friends, and man, he had, I think, like 4 touchdowns. Like, that man ate. That was so exciting for him.
Right. I think that's why I love this team. They have some Bama guys. Not that like every NFL team is essentially going to have college players that are moving over, but specifically they have like some from A&M that I like, and then they also have some from Bama that I like. So it only makes sense for me to cheer those guys on. I'll be wearing a Dolphins shirt next time. It's super cute.
Can't wait.
It's my style.
You have to cut a deep V-neck in it, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to, you know, sexy it up a little.
Yes. I'll be over here in my baggy jerseys. Don't mind me.
Love it.
I'll stay in my t-shirts.
Right?
Yes.
Poindexter, tell me, did you get drawn for any tags for hunting this year? Yeah.
Ooh, no, I did not. No draws for California, no draws for Nevada, but I am going to Idaho in a few weeks to go elk hunting, and then in November to go deer hunting. So we'll have to figure this out, because I might be like, you know, on the road during a recording when we're having, you know, I'll be like in my hunting gear.
Camera gear.
I can't be up in the stand.
I think people will be okay with that. I think guys might like that.
And let me just say, because, you know, hunters are the biggest conservationists. Yes. We do care about like wildlife management. And I do eat the meat. Love elk. I mean, we made elk chili for the playoffs. Remember? Or was it Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl,
I love eating the things she kills also. I don't enjoy hunting, but I do like deer and elk. So, I mean, I think there's a distinction or a difference or something between somebody who like hunts and kills like maybe one animal a year and then feeds their family with it versus like trophy hunters who are, spending whatever amount of money, many tens of thousands of dollars to go kill like some endangered animal in another country. Like that's not the same thing as your type of hunting. For anyone who's going to be offended, it's you still may not like it, but I mean, do you eat meat? It's got to be killed.
We're all gonna eat your meat whenever you're done hunting.
I do like to stalk animals. No, I'm just joking. I will. And men.
Right. She stalks her prey.
I stalk. No, I have to say, I have never. I mean, I grew up hunting like as a little tiny girl, like, and that was like just the thing I did with my dad, and it was just a very like. I have so many great memories of my father and I, like just, him like making me go hunting with him as a little girl and sitting in the car and he'd buy me hot chocolate and like all this candy to make sure that, I was having a good time. But I look back and I remember just like being like, oh, this sucks. I have to get up early. But looking back at it as an adult, I'm like, this was like the best time ever that I got to like spend all this quality time with my father. But yeah, I've never used a guide. We actually get out and track and track.
Well, you're Native American, so that's something you learned to do growing up.
Yeah. And, look for like, droppings and feel them, and then, is it
Ace
fresh? Talking like what we were talking about before the show. Is it fresh? Is it warm and green? Is there steam coming off of it? Ooh, yes, I'm on a fresh track. So gross. Oh, that leads me into one of my questions I had for you guys. A fan question was like, what is something that your fans do not know about you? And since this is leading from hunting into this, I will say the one thing that I've never talked about is my first memory. I don't know if you guys know this, that my first real memory is I was like 3 years old, sitting in the back of a truck, and we were going up this dirt road deer hunting, and I fell out of the back of the truck. And I all I remember is like just the dirt, and then like the truck just kept on going up this hill, and I just, as a little girl, just crying and just being like, they're gonna leave me alone, they're gonna leave me on this dirt road, and then just like running after the truck, and then and then I got to sit up front in the front cab with my dad. I think felt bad.
I think your dad may have told me that story. For some reason, it sounds familiar, but it wasn't told like that. It's making me think it was your dad.
Maybe it was, but that's my first real memory, is falling out of the back of a truck deer hunting, and as a little girl, and I thought I was going to be left behind. That's why it's a memory, right? Because those first memories are like something that's like very, it's going to stick in your memory, not just playing with my like Barbies. Okay, Annabelle, so what is one thing that you've never told any of your fans?
Any of my fans? I can't think of anything funny because all the ridiculous stuff I say. Can I go with the serious answer? Okay, so I have a master's in political science, almost a PhD. I initially, for most of my life, as a younger person, thought I wanted to be a professor. So I did all the stuff you're supposed to do, had a bunch of majors, lived abroad, learned languages, and then went into a PhD program. And after doing my coursework, I was kind of like, oh, crap, I don't want to do this. So I was like, I'm just going to drop out. But you can't just drop out with all that money and effort for nothing. So I basically got a master's and did not, because I wasn't going to spend, 3 or 4 years going into debt writing a dissertation if I wasn't going to teach. So then I started cooking, which I have loved doing, but it is definitely less profitable than almost anything else you're going to do.
You would have been a fun-ass professor, though, I will say that.
It was, I feel like I did okay as a TA, but the thing what I loved was the research, really. Like, I actually loved school, and I loved writing and doing all the research. So, like, my research assistantship I enjoyed that way more than teaching. So, but then I was like, academia wasn't for me. I think I'm also too unserious of a person to actually work in academia. Like, because my personality's always been the same. Like, it would be ridiculous teaching like a regular important class.
The funny teachers are the best ones. Like, they pay attention to the ones that joke and aren't like monotone, blah blah, like not doing anything fun. You would be a fun.
I don't know. I remember
teacher.
I'll give you a first memory, not the first memory of my life, but as a TA, I was teaching comparative politics for a very prominent professor, and this was in DC, so we did have a lot of West Coast students, and I didn't really know anyone from the West Coast. I knew in my mind I vaguely wanted to live in San Diego one day, but there's all these kids coming to my class that had the little Valley Girl accents, and they had on Ugg boots, which I didn't even know what that was. And I just remember, and they're like wearing skirts and their boots all the time. So finally one day I'm like, what in the hell are y'all wearing? Like, they're Uggs. I'm like, what? I don't know what is an Ugg. And apparently, now obviously I know what they are. I think the first gift my in-laws ever gave me before I married my ex was a pair of Ugg boots, because it was like, oh, it actually is cold when you go to the beach and you get out of the water and you want to warm your feet up. Like, I think that's the original purpose, is like you're surfing or whatever and you come out of the water and you take off your wetsuit and throw the boots on. Obviously it became a weird fashion choice now.
No idea.
Because, like, my ex-husband had them as well when I met him. And he didn't wear them as a fashion statement. He's never worn anything as a fashion statement in his entire life.
He's never had. No, I was surprised he even has shoes on. I mean, that man wore scrubs and no shoes. And I'm like, or flip-flops. Or one time he was at the house and he was going to go hiking and he had a pair of, like, loafers on. And I'm like, how are you going to hike in loafers with it? I'm like, this is so random, but yeah.
Or swim trunks.
Yeah.
Scrub pants or swim trunks, yeah.
Yeah. So, Tris, what is your first, maybe a funny thing that no one, or a fact that your fans don't know about?
So I don't know. I think all of my like current events, I think most people know about, because I'm pretty open and I talk about all these things on my page. But I think most people probably don't know that I was in the band for 7 years, all through middle school, all through high school. It was like my family, because I didn't live at home since I was 15. So that was like, I did everything with the band. Not necessarily anything weird from like American Pie type situation, although band nerds are kinky, I will tell you that. But no, I bet you guys can't guess what I played though.
I was about to ask, what instrument did you play? Was it the flute?
No. So I think because I've always been super tiny, like my arms, they said, weren't really long enough for a flute. And I don't know if they were just trying to push me into this other instrument, because we're like, no, we have nobody else to play this thing. But they were like, you don't really have enough air for the saxophone. I wasn't coordinated enough for the drums. But when they came to my elementary school, I knew I wanted to be in the band. I thought it was the coolest thing. But I actually played the oboe.
The what?
The oboe. It's a double reeded instrument, so it has like this tiny little thin reed that comes out of the top. And the funny part is that like during marching season, you can't march with a double reeded instrument like that. Those pieces break really easily. So I actually just marched around with whatever instrument, typically a clarinet, and I would like be pretending like I'm like, it was not real. But yeah, so I kind of was just like a fill-in, and I still have nightmares that I'm like can't remember how to play my instrument because I went so long without like playing as much during the year. But yeah.
Oh my God. I only have one question. That one time at band camp, tell us what happened.
Band camp was fun actually, but we definitely like in between, because in the summertime
you actually went to band camp.
Yes, in the summertime you have band camp, and that's when you start practicing for the shows, and they have like markers all on the ground, so you spend hours. Like I would probably spend like 6 or 7 hours a day at the high school, and then you would take a little break and we would all sneak into the auditorium, and there weren't really like lights and all that stuff on, so you could like hang out, or you could go up into the rafter or whatever. Yeah, you could hang out. There's plenty of makeout. There was definitely like a 22-hour bus ride. We went to Disney World in my junior year in high school. And what else are you going to do on a 22-hour bus ride when there weren't really cell phones? Or at least not like normal people didn't have, like, you had the gigantic cell phones at the time. So who knows? Who knows what people saw? I have no idea.
What did you do on the bus?
You know what? I had a longtime boyfriend, okay? It was 3 years. And there was, who knows, we won't get into that, but they were teenagers.
So we don't need to, you know what she did.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I was also doing the same thing, so I get it. But I had to ask.
But what also I need to ask is, did you bring snacks on the bus ride?
Heck yeah. I've always been a snacker. Maybe it's worse now because of my extracurricular activities, but I definitely, I don't know, I'm all about some snacks. And I almost sent you guys a picture yesterday. I've been craving crab legs and I haven't had them in forever. And I went and I got these, they're called Bertie crab legs. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but apparently they're like way bigger than normal crab legs. And I was in hog heaven. It was like a pound and a half of crab legs and some corn and potatoes. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm in awe that you can eat all that food and still stay so like.
it was just a mess. I was like getting crazy in there.
That sounds
Did you have a bib on?
delicious.
Were you wearing a bib?
No, I should have worn
Okay.
a little lobster bib.
You know,
Or a
that would
little
have been
crab
cute. And
bib.
take a picture for us next time.
How do
so-
you, when you're hungry, how do you eat crab legs though? I lose patience because if I'm hungry, I cannot spend 30 minutes getting tiny little slivers of meat out for each
I
bite.
thought that too, but I think, well, number one, when you eat slower, you get full faster. So that's why you're not supposed to, stuff your face really
Whatever.
quick, which I have a problem doing. But yes, when you're super hungry, you should eat a little bit slower because then you'll feel full when you're actually full. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, these were just really quality, and because they were a lot bigger, even I told the guy, I'm like, I've never had these before. And he's like, yeah, this is like a man and a boy kind of difference as far as the size. And I was like, bring it on. Let's go. Let's get into these crab legs.
What are they called
But it was
again?
so great. They're Bertie crab legs.
Like, how do you spell it?
It's
'Cause
like
I wanna go.
Bairde, I think.
Interesting.
But apparently it's like the favorite of Alaskan crab fishermen or something.
Oh,
So yeah, but they were great. So
Nice.
but
Sounds
yeah,
delicious.
snacks. And I'm hungry. See, I ate this while we were waiting, and now I'm ready for snack of the week because it's just
Yeah.
sitting here in front of me this whole time. And I'm like, I want to eat that so bad.
I want to see what your snack. I'm like,
What's the snack of the
America
week?
wants to know what your snack of the week is.
Oh, do you want me to show you now my snack of the week?
Yes. Yeah.
So, see, last time I did unhealthy, and I do a balance of healthy and unhealthy just because, I don't know, you should have a little bit of both. But anyway, so this is one of my favorite. It's actually, I like go through the whole process. I wash all of my blueberries, all my strawberries, and like I let them soak in cold water with like some, I think it's baking soda and, sometimes I do a little bit of vinegar. I'm not really a fan of how the vinegar tastes. I know you can wash it off and everything. But anyways, you get all the pesticides and stuff off. Even the organic ones can still have that stuff on there. So I like rinse them and I cut them all up. And I'll have like literally 7 or 8 of these jars in my fridge. And then whenever I feel like I want something sweet, I try to eat one of these first. And then make a decision after the fact if I really want a sweet or not. So I put like a couple of scoops of yogurt and then I do like a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of honey and it is so good.
Ooh.
But yeah, I'll sometimes have like 2 of those in the day. I don't know what the fruit servings are, but I guess as long as I'm eating fruit and not other
Oreos?
things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's better
not
sugars.
Oreos. I really needed to lay off the Oreos. I went kind of ham on some Oreo situation recently. So I'm trying to be better. But yeah, that's my snack of the week.
Ooh, that sounds really good. I mean, you can even crush up some Oreos and stick it on top if you wanted
This is really true. I mean, yogurt with Oreos on top. is
Or
a little bit of-
granola, like a
balance.
sane person.
Yeah.
For
But
texture.
that's too healthy. We're talking like
the
snacks.
texture. I want the texture in there, the crunchy
Sometimes
stuff.
I just crave like a healthier option. Like the Oreos are nice, but I do also have these little quinoa. I don't know. They're like quinoa crisps, and they
Oh,
have a
yeah.
light coating of like dark chocolate and sea salt on them.
Ooh.
And there's like milk chocolate ones, but those are so good. And then I have these frozen. They're like freeze dried raspberries with a layer of white chocolate and then a layer of dark chocolate. And they're just in the grocery store already. Like I'll just go grab like a handful of those, and they're so good.
I've had those. Those are really, really good.
Yeah, the true fruit. That's what they are.
Yes. Yep. They're really good.
Yeah, blueberry ones are good. All that.
Oh, nice. Yes, I. so much to say about snacks. Well, last night I had for dinner peanut M&Ms because it was just one of those nights.
I had
Ooh,
soup
peanut
from
M&Ms are good.
Right? And you know how I am. Like, I have a jar of like M&Ms, and there's like you have to kind of dig for them because there's like regular M&Ms, there's peanut butter M&Ms, and there's peanut M&Ms. So I just kind of like to mix it all up and just it's like a surprise in your mouth.
No, I need to know what I'm getting. I don't want to think I'm getting a peanut butter M&M and bite into a peanut. Like, that's doesn't work for me.
Where do you think peanut butter comes from? Peanuts.
I didn't say that I'm trying to avoid nuts. I'm just saying the texture is very different. Like, first of all, I don't like peanut M&Ms, but if I think it's going to be soft and creamy and it's a peanut, it's like, no.
Ooh, nice.
That's why I stay away from your. That's why I stay away from your M&M jar, because I know that it's unpredictable as to what I'm going to get.
Well, you might just want to stay away from it because everyone sticks their hands in there, like I gotta switch it out and put some candy corn in there.
Oh no, that'll keep everybody away from it.
Yeah, literally no one else wants your wax candy that's dyed orange.
Ooh, it's so good. It's all sugar. It's just all sugar. Yeah. Well, maybe you can make me some candy then.
I'll make you candy. What kind of candy do you want?
I don't know.
I'm not making candy
chocolate.
corn.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I think that wraps us up for this week's episode of irRational Moms. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you like it, just, come back and you can watch all the different, or watch or hear all our different episodes that we have. And I think next week we'll see what we're going to, I don't know. What do you want to do about next week?
And
cut that part out.
My light went out, so I'm sorry. But we will be back with more snacks next time. I will have some more goodies for you.